Good morning, guys. It probably might not be morning for you because it isn't morning here, but that's always how Matty Healy starts his Instagram stories. Like, I unfollowed him ages ago because I was just sick of it, but yeah, he's still active, I guess. And he is also the main focus of the video today, obviously, and Julian Casablancas, obviously. But we'll get into that. So, yeah, obviously the internet has gone abuzz over the last couple of days. Maybe people have already gotten over it, I don't know, but I just really felt like I need to make a video on it because, as usual, my opinion is the greatest opinion of them all. And yeah, I just thought you guys would like to hear from me. So, from what I know of, from keeping up on Reddit, because that's like the only social media platform that I have, obviously we found out that the Good Vibes Festival, where the 1975 and the Strokes were scheduled to perform, was cancelled amongst obviously other people in the lineup. I only know the Strokes and the 1975 were on that bill because I love both bands. But yeah, more specifically the Strokes, but because I'm more familiar with them. But I do see the 1975 appeal because I found out about them later, and that's where we get into all this sort of, I don't want to say feud, but there is sort of, you can see a bit of simmering bitterness between Julian Casablancas and Matty Healy, understandably. Because I think we know why that was the case. Because Matty Healy made fun of Julian for that very cringe DM he sent to that girl, which I'm not going to lie, that was really, really gross. And I kind of lost a bit of respect for Julian after that. I kind of already was after he started dating like a girl who was half his age, but yeah, we don't need to get into that because the comments will just be like, it's none of your business. Well, it is my business because I'm a fan of them. So, of course, I need to know everything that's happening. Just kidding. As Julian would always say, like, whenever he speaks, he's always like, just kidding, just kidding. So, can't I do that? Do you be the same person? But, yeah, I think Matty Healy gets away with a lot of what he says because he knows that he's aware of how crazy he is and how silly he sounds. And I think the problem is Julian just isn't like that. So that's where I kind of have a bit more respect for Matty Healy because obviously a lot of stuff Matty Healy has done I do not agree with either, but at least he's like upfront about it. And I know he made that joke about Japanese people on that same podcast he talked about with Julian about like the concentration camp sort of joke. But I'm half Japanese and maybe because I've been raised in Australia my whole life, but I didn't really see anything wrong with that. Like, it's just hard to make any jokes these days, and I'm sure like Julian has like made some jokes, like he was like people accused Matty Healy of doing a Nazi salute, whether that was true or not on stage. But Julian also did that like at the Sydney show I went to. He was like, oh, this sounds like joking about the Nazis. Like, I'm sure obviously people took that as a joke. So why wouldn't they take it as a joke if Matty Healy was doing it? So I think that's kind of where the hypocrisy goes into this sort of thing. And so back to the concert. I'm really bad at breaking things down, but so obviously Matty Healy kissed his bandmate Ross McDonald, who I only know about his name because of this situation, but he's a bass player, and they kissed, and then that obviously we know what happened. The whole festival got cancelled. But what I feel like the festival should have been handled better, like the people running it, and also obviously the main finger gets pointed at the government for obviously deciding that being so homophobic and that gay and LGBTQ plus rights are frowned upon in Malaysia, which is just despicable. And but I do feel like the festival didn't need to be cancelled as much as it was like obviously a stand for Matty Healy to do that. I can totally see why both sides would be like, yeah, this is a great way for Matty to stand up for the LGBTQ plus community, but also for obviously like people who really wanted to see other acts, including the Strokes, and being like, he just ruined it for everyone. So I can obviously totally see it from both sides, but I feel like what would have been the best course of action is they could have just said the government could have just said, as punishment, we will be like, the 1975 will be, will not be allowed to come to Malaysia for like 3 years, like travel ban or something like that. Like I don't think they needed to cancel the whole festival. Yeah, so I feel like what Matty did was very like very active, and I know people saying like it's a white saviour complex and stuff, but I feel like it was better than nothing because someone had to do it, and he obviously could have been heaps of people before him. Maybe there was a Malaysian artist who was doing that at a concert, but we just don't know about it because obviously that sort of stuff doesn't get covered in the media. Obviously the media is very biased, so only the white people, famous white people stuff get covered. But yeah, I feel like Matty Healy just needed to do what he needed to do, and that was just a good stand for him. I feel like the festival could have just went ahead. Like they didn't. I don't think it was Matty's fault or the band's fault that the whole thing was cancelled. I don't think they need to put out an apology. I feel like the festival, they did put out a statement, and that was rightly so, because the festival I feel like should have continued. They could have just, the government just said, okay, maybe life ban from 1975 for not entering Malaysia, but I still think that wasn't a reason to cancel the whole festival. And I don't think I've seen anyone's opinions about that yet, but yeah, from what I've heard, obviously, as we know, Julian, I also used to have Instagram and I followed him, but I've since unfollowed him because reasons, and I deleted my Instagram, if that explains a lot. He obviously was like really, he wasn't, but obviously from what we could tell from previous experiences on the Adam Friedland show, yeah, his response, obviously he was trying to make it, as people were noticing, as like so light as possible, like a lyric from the 1975, like soy milk won't offend anybody, you know, on their latest album, someone wrote, which was very clever. And yeah, but in the end, he just sounded really dumb and like really pissed off. And I feel like the best course of action for him would have just been not to respond at all. And I know he was just responding to like someone's post that, it's like he was trying to say that was not what I said. And obviously I would do the same thing if someone was spreading accusations about me that I said this and this and this. But yeah, obviously he did feel the need to apologise and say we'll do, and obviously he wanted to do a make up to the fans, which was good. He did a post on that, but it was really odd, and obviously we know he's an odd person, but unlike Matty Healy, he doesn't really we can't really tell if it's like truth or not. It's really hard to explain. But just by the way he was typing, like I knew right away when I saw that post, I was like, he's really angry at Matty Healy right now. And after obviously the fedora comment he made, because Matty Healy on his Instagram, I don't know if many people were aware of this, because this still kind of is a small, like it's not really as talked about as much, because I'm sure not many 1975 fans know about the Strokes. So yeah, it's still kind of like just the only thing that certain, like a minority of fans know about. So, but yeah, he did put a fedora on the map on his Instagram story, so that just like gave it right away. Like I think it's just doing it like a fuck you to Julian.